Hello, hello, everybody. Let's restart this song right here. Have some nice... Sorry. We'll have some nice Diablo 2 background music because it's who I am. So apparently they dropped some big ol' patch notes for us right this evening. I was at work, so this is the earliest I'm getting to it. But we are about to get to it. I have no idea what's in here. I'm assuming people are mad because why wouldn't they? It's the internet. Let's see if we join a happy crowd or an angry crowd, you know? I'm up for either. Why not? So we know it's the season of the Malignant, right? So what do I think they're going to be doing? Reddit is angry. Unsurprising. Of course they are. It's Reddit. Of course they're angry. I'm not about to judge them before I read all this, though, because who knows, I might be angry too. I just hope it's not a complete shit show. I did hear one thing, though, and when we get to that, I'll point it out, and it makes me big sad. Big sad. But we'll get to it when we get to it. Okay, first off, new unique items and legendary aspects, which is something I'm really looking forward to here. New unique items and legendary aspects have been discovered in Sanctuary. Use them to enhance your characters in the Eternal or Seasonal realms. They're for all characters, which is nice. These unique items can be obtained from World Tier 4, and the legendary aspects can be obtained from any tier. Okay, so they are basically your Temerity and a few other items that are exclusive to Tier 4. Interesting. Okay, A Havarian Spear of Lysander. Lysander being the potion vendor in Diablo 2 Act 2. When you get to the desert, he's the one who sells you the potions. Gain a... Oh, it's a unique... It's a... Wait, it's an uber unique? Oh, it's... Okay, it's the shared one. Okay, so the new shared unique is an uber unique? That's a weird start to this. Sure, I guess. Do we need a uber unique number 7? I don't know, maybe. It's not like we're gonna get any of the other 6, so I don't really care either way what they put in the 7th slots. Gain a random shrine effect for 10 to 20 seconds after killing an elite enemy. Can only occur once every 30 seconds. A Havarian Spear of Lysander is an extremely rare drop, yeah. We wish you luck in recovering it from the armies of the Burning Hells. So we have no idea what the other affixes are on this item. Just that bonus on its own doesn't sound that appealing. Honestly, like, gain a random shrine effect. Like, yay, I got greed effect on for 20 seconds. Nice. Because, like, the shrines aren't that good in this. They are nothing compared to the Diablo 3 shrines. Those are way too strong. But in 4, they feel really lackluster. So, I don't know. This doesn't really... To me, this is the least appealing of the Uber Uniques, just at first glance, without knowing what the stats are gonna roll on this item. It might be incredible when we know all the stats, but with this, it's whatever. Barbarian. Unique Azure Wrath, unique sword. So this is an old school one coming back. Lucky hits. Your core skills have up to 20% chance to freeze enemies for 3 seconds and deal cold damage to them. Okay. I don't know, that could be good. I haven't played enough Barbarian to really know if this is worth much. I mean, you don't really run Penitent Greaves on a Barb, do you? Like, do you care about cold and... I guess the boots don't freeze, but, like, do you care about cold and freeze effects on a Barb? I don't know. To me, just first impression, it's cool having Azure Wrath back, but like I don't know if this is good or not. Honestly, I don't know if this is worth it. They already have so many bad barbarian weapon uniques, so I mean, what's another one? Okay, now for my boy, the druid, Flesh Render. Is that a new item? If it is an old item, then I don't remember it. Flesh Render. It is an old one. Oh! It's from Diablo 2. Shame on me. In Diablo 2, it had a lot of crushing blow, open wounds, druid skills, shapeshifting druid, prevent monster heal. Okay, yeah, I know the stats on this thing. Didn't know the name, though. Unique one-handed mace. Debilitating roar and blood howl deal damage to nearby poisoned enemies. Interesting. Huh. So now just the buffs actually deal AoE damage because you spread poison everywhere. That could be interesting. That could actually be... Like, what would you have to sacrifice? Because you'd have to give up a legendary aspect for this. Interesting. That one could be used for something actually useful. But I don't know. Like, a lot of the legendary aspects for the druid are really, like, locked in for what you need for the druid. So I don't know if this has a... Like, it also depends on how much damage it does, right? And again, the other stats on the weapon. But I don't know. It could be useful, but I'm not sure what you would give up for this. If it's worth it, honestly. I'm interested in Flesh Render, and I'm gonna keep an eye on that one because it could be good. Could be. Necromancer, Lidless Wall is back. Okay. Unique shield. Lucky hit. While you have an active Bone Storm, hitting an enemy outside of a Bone Storm has up to 5 to 25% chance to spawn an additional Bone Storm at their location. Each of your active sacrifice bonuses increase the chance by 25% and the total number of additional Bone Storms you can have by 1. This sounds really good to me. This sounds really good. Because, I mean, if you're running... They're probably nerfing Bone Spear down here is what I'm afraid is going to happen. But just as the game is now, when you're running Bone Spear, because you are running Bone Spear, because no other build for Necromancer is good, you also have Bone Storm active a lot of the time when you're playing a Necromancer. So if you can roll a 25% chance to spawn more Bone Storms on people you hit outside of Bone Storms, which happens a lot when you're using Bone Spear, you can spawn like more and more Bone Storms, and for each sacrifice bonus, increase the chance by 25% and the total number of additional Bone Storms you can have by 1. So you can have plus 3 Bone Storms at 75%. That's a lot of Bone Storms, man. Never heard someone say bone so much in my life. Your life is too clean. Bone. Like, this means you can have plus 3 Bone Storms at 75% base, and then on top of that you have the item? Doesn't that mean that if the item rolls 25%, you just have a 100% chance to summon a Bone Storm whenever you hit someone out of range of your Bone Storm? This potentially could be a really, really good item just based on how much everything else interacts with the ability itself. So yeah, I'm actually really excited to see how this one plays out, because this sounds really fun, if nothing else. Like, it could roll garbage stats, and this immediately means nothing. But I hope they put some good stuff on it, because I'm actually really curious about this one now. So far, it's the one I'm looking forward to the most, just based on what I've seen here. Eagle Horn for the rogue, a unique bow, so it's immediately useless, because crossbows roll vulnerable as the item type stat, and bows don't. So it's immediately useless. So, great start. Penetrating shot has a 30 to 80% chance to fire an arrow that bounces off walls and scenery. Hitting enemies from behind with penetrating shot will make them vulnerable for 3 seconds. Or, you're just back into vulnerable like everybody else. And you don't use this. Why would I use this weapon? That makes no sense to me. Yeah, no. This does not sound good to me. I could just run a crossbow with vulnerability, dex, and crit damage, and I'm good. I got vulnerable from other sources. I don't need this. That's a shame. Is Eaglehorn a new item? Eaglehorn. Eaglehorn, Diablo 1 and 2. Really? Eaglehorn is one of the most effective of the unique bows in Diablo 1. Interesting. Eaglehorn main advantage is its high damage and its ignore target's defense. Huh. So it's a high level item in Diablo 2. I don't remember this bow at all. Which, I mean, clearly. But still. I like that they're bringing back old items, though, because all of these are... So far, all of them are old items. Is the Spear of Lysander an old item? I'm sorry, I'm looking so much up. It's a legendary staff in Diablo 3. Oh, it's that thing. Okay, I recognize the icon for it. It's the one that looks like the angelic arch thing from the high heavens. Okay. Okay, let's see here. What are we doing with the Sork? They need some help. So what are we doing to help them? The Oculus. I remember that wand. Have it on my Sork in Diablo 2. Gain the effect of the teleport enchantment for free. Good unique. When you evade using teleport enchantment, you are taken to a random location. God damn it. No. We were doing so good. I mean, it could still work. It could still be good. I might be freaking out over nothing, but the fact that it takes you to a random location is frustrating as hell, but it is what Oculus did in the past, so it makes sense. But we were doing so good right here. And then, just like the effect of the item, you took me for a fucking ride I was not asking for. I don't know. This is so good. This first line right here is so good. But goddamn. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on this one. It could be great. Like, the Oculus is so good in Diablo 2. And if they mess it up in 4, I will be really sad. It sounds... The potential is there. It's only when you're evading, you're taken to a random location, which, like, if you're using a lot of evading for traversal, this is garbage. But if you're using traversal mainly for in-combat reasons, it could actually be fine. You could be fine. Developer note, the Azure Wrath and Flesh Render unique items have flat damage effects. Okay. Which scale with power. Okay, so like the... damage affixes you roll on Blizzard and stuff like that on the Sork. On console, it'd be annoying since you don't know which direction to push stick. I mean, it doesn't matter. Oh, you mean when you end up after the teleport? I mean, it's the same for PC, though. You don't know where to click with your mouse either, so I don't think that the difference is that big. It's just as disorienting on both versions. So it's likely to be a shit show either way, but we'll have to keep an eye on it. It might be good. It could be really good depending on the stats on it, because just getting the teleport enchantment for free is so good. Okay, so these scale with power. At 820 item power, Azure Wrath deals between 3 something to 6 something thousand damage. Okay. Okay, that's good to know. So they are flat damage effects. So whenever you find those, you know, just pray for a higher item level. Okay, 7 new legendary aspects, and we start off with 2 shared ones. Interesting. Okay. Here we go. Audacity. Utility aspect. When there are at least 5 close enemies, stun them for 2 to 4 seconds. This can only occur every 20 seconds. Interesting. So whenever you get swarmed by people, you just stun all of them for 2 to 4 seconds. That could be good. I mean, that utility. So is this? It's not boots. Utility. Okay. So what? You put this on a ring? That's the competition on that slot is really big though. So I don't know if this one's gonna get much play. Maybe for hardcore and some real frail characters, this one might actually see some play. It's a good one to add to the pool, though. I'm not complaining about that. Craven, mobility aspect. You gain 20 to 40% increased movement speed when moving away from slowed or chilled enemies. This could be really good for a rogue using Penitent Greaves, because you are always slowing and chilling enemies by just moving. So this is just always getting a movement speed boost whenever there's enemies around. I like that one. Just first glance, I like that one. I might use that one. I'm glad I'm rolling a rogue in the season. I'm gonna absolutely try this one out a bit, because that sounds really good. Barbarian, ancestral charge. I mean, they are using every word in the dictionary put together with ancestral at this point. There's like 3 aspects already named ancestral something. Offensive aspect. Charge calls forth 4 ancients who also charge, dealing 50 to 100% of normal damage. Okay. Interesting. I don't know a single build that uses charge, but maybe this will put it in the builds. I don't know. I don't know enough about Barb, like I said before, if this is going to do anything, really. Druid, subterranean, offensive aspect. This is the one they showed us during the Season 1 livestream, I think. Poison Creepers active. Also casts Landslide in a circle around you. Earth skills deal 10 to 20% increased damage to poisoned enemies. This could be big. I hope it will be. Is all I can say, because at this point there's like 2 builds for the Druid. And like, not really. There's like 6 good ones, but like everyone's either going for the bear or the wolf, and that's basically it. You're either going pulverize bear or tornado wolf. And yes, a lot of people have figured out a completely broken shred wolf build that's probably going to get nerfed and fixed and bug fixed sometime soon. But maybe this opens up a bit of Poison Creeper with Landslide play, with more Earth skills. So maybe down the line, this aspect could play into a Earth pet build of some sort. Maybe? I don't know. So right now, pets are garbage. They are useless. But maybe down the line, in a year or 2, this one might actually be really good. So even if its time isn't now, I'm glad we're getting it. Necromancer, Gore Quills, offensive aspects. Bloodlance, starting strong. Bloodlance is not very good. will consume blood orbs to also conjure lances from them. Each additional blood lance deals 20 to 50% of normal damage and prioritizes targeting unlanced enemies. Huh. I mean, that could be really big. I haven't tried Bloodlance, but that could actually, I don't know, that could maybe start pushing that build into a good direction. Give it some actual, like, good buffs. I don't know. Sounds interesting. I don't hate that one. Rogue. Pestilent points. Every third cast of puncture is poison imbued with 100 to 150% of normal potency. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't have much to say about that one. I haven't used puncture, I don't think. Have I? Hold on. Let me see here. Let me see what puncture looks like. I don't think I have. Puncture. It's that one. It's a rogue skill. Allows rogues to deal damage by throwing blades a short distance every third cast that slows enemies. Wait, this is... Oh, it's the basic throwing knives. Okay. Yes, I have used this a lot. Okay. Every third cast of puncture is poison imbued. On top of it slowing on every third hit. Interesting. Yeah, that could be really big. I don't know if there's much interaction with poison damage in the rogue kit. I haven't played rogue yet. I haven't played rogue since the beta. It's the only class I haven't played after launch. So I'm not sure how the rogue has turned out completely. I've only seen a few videos and gotten a bit excited to play it myself. So I'm not sure how much poison is actually rolling around in the rogue kit. I know there's poison traps and stuff like that, but I don't know if this is gonna have a major impact or not. The fact that it's an aspect for a basic ability tells me that it might not be very big. We'll have to wait and see. Sorcerer. Let's help our tiny Sork boys here. I hope. Searing Words. Offensive aspect. After spending 200 to 100... Oh, okay, so it rolls. So you can roll anywhere between 200 and 100. So, yeah. 100 mana. Your next firewall is free to cast and will destroy incoming small missiles. I don't know. Doesn't really blow my socks off, you know? They're still very much attached. Who knows? I haven't played Firewall. I've only played a Blizzard Sork, so I don't know. Is correct. Okay. Yeah. I guess it's nice of it to destroy the incoming missiles, but like you're just gonna shoot again. So I don't know. Moving on. Bug fixes. Accessibility. Made various improvements from an accessibility perspective, primarily many fixes to the screen reader where it failed to read specific elements. Okay. Good. All around good fix. No comment. Challenges. Fixed multiple issues where specific challenges wouldn't provide the proper rewards or could not be completed. Okay, good. So we're getting our rewards now. I don't know what stuff they're referencing, but I'm glad we're getting our rewards now. Proper, you know. Fixed multiple issues where certain challenges could be progressed through unintended means. Okay. Fixed multiple issues where players could gain progress for certain challenges through the actions of other nearby players. So this is why you're popping achievements and stuff when you're not actually doing what the achievement is saying. I see what they're talking about now. That's what the challenges are. Fixed multiple instances where activities that should count towards the criteria for some challenges were not counted. That's a good fix. Fixed an issue where players would not receive notifications for when one of their friends completed a challenge. I need to know what my friend is doing. Need to keep my eyes on them. Fixed an issue where feats of strength were not accounted for when calculating challenge completion percentage. Okay. The feat of strength, Final Slayer of the First Mother, now requires you to slay the level 100 Pinnacle boss solo. The silence is hellish challenge remains unchanged. That's one hell of a sentence. The silence is hellish. That's hard to say. Fixed an issue where the feats of strength, one of the first and earliest experience, did not display all the titles they rewarded. Okay. And now for our console people, the co-op play. Fixed an issue where the camera wasn't functioning properly when players were far apart in local co-op. So for anyone who doesn't know, you can actually play local co-op on a console for this game. And I heard it's pretty cool. Fixed an issue where NPC conversation boxes would overlap if multiple local co-op players talked to the same NPC at the same time. Fixed an issue where the rogue's inner sight would only fill up for one of the players in a co-op session. Fixed an issue where the Dark Potential challenge would be granted to both players when either player completed it, regardless of the other player's progress. Okay. We're soon through all these, minor stuff to, class balance and new stuff. So, sit tight, everyone. Fixed multiple instances where quest progress would not properly synchronize, or quest progression could be blocked for local co-op players. Class nerfs is what I heard, rather than balance. Well, goddamn. Fixed multiple issues that occurred during cutscenes for co-op players. Okay. Dungeons. Fixed an issue where the players would not be able to receive enough animus to progress through the hallowed ossuary dungeon. Really? That sounds frustrating as hell. Almost like the spider egg event where you never beat it for some reason. Fixed an issue where the stone carving in the Fallen Temple capstone dungeon would duplicate. Horrifying. Fixed an issue where the monster regen affix in a nightmare dungeon would also affect structures in that dungeon. Well, I'll be... Fixed an issue where the goat man and shambling corpse enemies would continuously respawn in the Forsaken Quarry dungeon. Fixed an issue where the sentinel enemies would not have weapons in the Bastion of Faith dungeon. How are they finding issues in these dungeons when nobody's running them? That's what I want to know. Because we're like, I'm not sure. I shouldn't say nobody's running them. Of course, someone is, but most of us are just so what are the S tier dungeons? And then we're just doing the nightmare dungeons the whole time. And I don't know if I've ever put my foot in Bastion of Faith dungeon. I have no idea what that is. Could sometimes not be completed. Fixed an issue where player could respawn behind a barrier in the Fallen Temple capstone dungeon. Okay, it's a capstone. Fixed an issue where the map for the Crusaders Cathedral dungeon was incomplete. I have played that one and I have encountered that bug. So, I shouldn't say no one is running these dungeons because I clearly proved myself wrong right there. Fixed an issue where the Curse of Indolence and the Curse of the Weak would stack even while the player was dead in the Fallen Temple capstone dungeon. Fixed multiple instances where the fog door could not be progressed through in some dungeons. Oh yeah. Interesting. Yeah, the fog door that pops up when you can join an active event, I'm assuming. Fixed an issue where the monster Thorns affix in Nightmare Dungeons was reflecting physical damage. It will now properly reflect non-physical damage. Okay. So it's not supposed to reflect physical damage. Interesting. Fixed an issue where blood boils would not properly spawn in the Core Dragon Barracks dungeon. Let's see how far we are through the soundtrack. Yeah, we're good. Fixed an issue where traps would deal more damage than intended. Okay. Fixed an issue where level scaling in the level 100 Pinnacle dungeon was inconsistent. Say it ain't so. I've had that glitch once with Fog Door. Had to restart dungeon. That sounds like hell. That sounds really annoying. So you're telling me that level scaling in the Pinnacle dungeon is inconsistent? Who could have thought? Fixed an issue where the awakened glyph stone wouldn't spawn if the party leader left the dungeon before the dungeon was completed. So that's why. Good to know. Okay, let's talk Barb. There we have it all on the screen. Fixed an issue where the number of enemies to defeat for the Barbarian class quests was not displayed. A non-issue after you have played for more than 6 hours. I'm being generous with the 6 hours. Most don't need that much. Fixed an issue where Iron Maelstrom could be cast more than 3 times rapidly casting Warcry. Okay. Fixed an issue where stacking the Berserk Ripping, Skullbreaker, and Anemia aspects would allow the player to deal extreme amounts of damage. Is this the Hammer of the Ancients thing? Is that what they just torn to shit? Did they destroy Hoda? Or is there some other build out there that I don't know about that use all these for dumb damage? I hope it's another one that I don't know about, because like Barbs need something. They nerfed Whirlwind to the ground in the first week of this game, so let them have their Hammer of the Ancients, damn. Fixed an issue where the outer edge of the Quakes granted to Hammer of the Ancients via aspect of Ancestral Echoes was dealing far more damage than intended. Didn't they say they were not gonna do this? Didn't they say that they weren't gonna nerf this ability? Developers note, we recognize this adjustment is significant decrease to the Hammer of the Ancient Barbarian build. We do not want its strength to be reliant on an underlying bug. So you're just bad now. I mean, yeah, they're right. It shouldn't be reliant on a bug and they should just buff it, but it's kind of shit that you just nerf them and don't provide a balanced fix for it. You just took their build away from them and were like, well, it shouldn't work off a bug. See you next time. Okay. That's kind of shit. Okay, Druid. Oh my god, there's so much text. I'm so scared. Okay, don't destroy my NATO wolf, please. Fixed an issue where Earth skills and the Pulverize skill would consume 2 overpower buffs simultaneously. Okay. So that's a nerf. Fixed an issue where the bonus effects on Blood Howl from Night Howler's aspect would apply twice to Wolf Companions, but not at all for Ravens. Okay. So the buff was applying twice for Wolves, but they're still trash. So maybe buff the buff? I mean, good for the Ravens, but still. Fixed an issue where Provocation passive stacks wouldn't update properly after adding more points to it. What's Provocation? I've never heard of Provocation in my life. I'm certainly not a provocative person in any way. What does this do? Provocation grants the following effects. You can rank it up 3 times. Interval. When you remain in werebear form for at least 30 seconds, your next skill will overpower. Okay. I don't think I've used this on any build, but fixed an issue where Provocation passive stacks wouldn't update properly. Okay. It's good. It's fixed. So that's a buff. Fixed an issue where the automatic transformation from Insatiable Fury would cause the Urzen Strength key passive to not proc consistently. So, okay. So a bug fix that results in a buff. Fixed an issue where the enhanced Pulverize buff would not remove itself while in town. Well now. Fixed an issue where Seeking Tornadoes, please don't destroy my boy, where Seeking Tornadoes produced by Storm Chaser would not deal damage. Okay. A bug fix that results in my tornadoes doing more like actually hitting every time. Good. That's a buff. Fixed an issue where players were having fun. Yeah, that's a lot of these things. Thankfully, though, for a lot of the Druid stuff, we fixed this thing, and now you're slightly stronger, which I'm fine with. So far, the druid fixes. I'm not mad at it. This one is a bit of a shame. Because, I mean, even though it applied twice to the wolves, it's still not enough. Otherwise, and the overpower thing on pulverize, I don't know how that will affect pulverize in the end, because overpower is not that great. But still, everything else so far is looking alright. Yeah, seeking tornadoes produced by storm chasers aspect would not deal damage. Why do they not just target on the base skill? Why do they have to be like random nados? Like, oh, wind! Then they just fly off, hit no one. Why do I have to find an aspect for the ability to work? Well, at least now they hit every time, so that's good. Fixed an issue where Raven's passive damage did not improve after the skill was upgraded. So again, a bug fix that results in a buff. Ravens still garbage because they're pets, and pets do no damage. Fixed an issue where rabies would deal no damage while standing very close to an enemy. Again, a bug fix that results in a buff. As a druid main, I am very content so far. I'm not like, yeah, but like I'm not sad. I'm very just nice about everything I've read here so far. Fixed an issue where Stormclaw's aspect allowed Shred to do extremes amounts of damage. They have fixed Shred. The broken Shred build. I mean, those of us that have kept up with this knew that they would fix this because it was literally broken. It was a stupid strong build based on a bug. So, of course they were going to fix this. So I'm not surprised. Now, do I wish we could still use this and like take down Lilith in a few seconds? Yes, of course. I would love to, but it doesn't make sense for them to keep it. It's completely broken. And the difference between this, we recognize this will ruin your barbarian, and this is that the druid has like 6 other builds they can play. The barb has Hammer of the Ancients, Whirlwind, and the Kratos looking thing that people are running a bit. But that's it. So now you're removing one. Basically, in the first week, you removed one of them. You got rid of a lot of the Whirlwind love. Now, guess what, Blizzard? You got rid of the Hammer of the Ancients. And what are they left with? The Kratos build. That is kind of good. Like, it's really good for like, leveling to 100, but I don't know how good it is for, like, Nightmare Dungeon pushing. If you want to tackle a tier 100 dungeon, I don't think you're going to get very far with that build, but what do I know? So that's the difference. So, Druid coming out of this looking very nice, very clean. Just the overpowered, broken build based on a bug is gone, and that's it. And as a Druid player, I'm very happy that this is the result. What about the Necros? My poor Necro boys out there. You desperately are in need of some love from the devs, and I see 5 things here. There's only 5 things they have done to you, and I mean, I doubt they're gonna be game changers, but let's see. Fixed an issue where necromancers could not obtain daggers from the Purveyor of Curiosities. Yes, they cannot acquire 2-handed swords either. Where's that fix? It's not in here. Okay. Oh, so they can still not roll for 2-handed swords, even though that's like the best weapon for every necromancer build. I didn't even realize daggers were not in there, but the more you know. I guess it's because you barely roll daggers. God damn it. Fixed an issue where the necromancer's minions would have their life bonuses deactivated while in town. As in they would not turn back on when you left town? Because otherwise, I don't see this mattering at all. Like, why would they need their life bonuses in town? Like, who cares? But I'm assuming this means they were deactivated while in town, which means they didn't have them when you came back out. I'm assuming that's why this is a thing. Either way, it's fixed. Yay! To the 4 necromancers out there that are not sacrificing their minions. Good for you. Fixed an issue where Bone Spear, here we go. Cast through Chilling Wind from an elite enemy would increase the number of generated echoes for that cast. Ah. That's not what I expected. Okay. Yeah, sure. I don't think that breaks anything. Fixed an issue where Enhanced Bone Spear could cause erratic movement. Okay. Still not a nerf to Bone Spear. Fixed an issue where canceling Blood Mist when it's already off cooldown would immediately recast it. That's pretty funny. So you're canceling Blood Mist into a new Blood Mist. It's kind of funny. So they're not destroying Bone Spear. I guess this could be something like the generated echoes. I am assuming that's the Bone Spear shard that come back when they hit the walls. All these are just fixes, though, rather than changes. Yeah, it's a lot of just fixes. Oh, hold on. This is why. We're not in the balance portion yet. Oh, no. Oh, no. We're just in the bug fixes. You're too positive? Yeah, now we know why. We're not in balance yet. We're just in bug fixes. Shit. Well, you have brought me down. Shit. Now I'm scared again. Now this makes sense. Now the druid stuff makes sense. Oh no. Okay, how did we fix the rogue? Fix it. God damn it. You had to pull me back to reality. Crap. Fixed an issue where Shadow Step wouldn't trigger the aspect of uncanny treachery if the target was killed. Okay. Fixed an issue where advanced... Now we're going to go through this a bit quicker now that I know this is not... No, I cannot believe I didn't realize this was not balance stuff. To be fair, I've just been working for, I don't know, 9 hours and just got home at 11 p.m. So it might be that, but still. Fixed an issue where advanced penetrating shot would not knock down other players in PvP play. Okay. So rogues are now more disgusting in PvP. Good to know. Fixed an issue where twisting blades would not come back when the ability killed the bloated corpse fiend enemy. So he just ate the weapons. Okay. Fixed an issue where dash kill skill would not move the full distance if targeting an enemy while using a controller. Again, controller Andys are taking the hard ones here. It's the same with the horse. You cannot reach max speed with the horse on a controller. I think that's really funny. I wonder if they're going to fix that. Fixed an issue where the Eldritch Bounty Paragon node granted bonus resistances incorrectly. It's not like they work anyway, so it doesn't matter. Fixed an issue where Rapid Fire had an extra arrow VFX that behaved erratically. Fixed an issue where the Awakened Glyphstone wouldn't spawn for rogue players using improved Barrage. Why are you playing this skill for? Sorks, what are we fixing? Fixed an issue where the Firebolt enchantment effect did not contribute to the Combustion Key passive. Well, that's pretty big. I wonder if people knew about that. That's good, that's fixed. Fixed an issue where the passive stacks generated by... Hold on. Why do I feel like there's stuff happening on my screens? Like, the corner of my eyes. I might be going crazy. Fix an issue where the passive stacks generated by Align the Elements could partially reset in an unexpected way. Fixed an issue where casting Deep Freeze would prevent the Ice Shard enchantment effect from triggering. Fixed an issue where Aspect of Control was applying its damage bonus 3 times for staggered bosses. So you're telling me that my Blizzard Sork is going to be worse now, is what I'm hearing. like the Blizzard Sork is like the way for Sorks to bring down Uber Lilith. So what are you doing? It's shit. Now watch a before and after of Lilith. Oh no, it doesn't work now basically. God damn. So the patch is out? That's my takeaway from that comment. Crap. Oh yeah, it is the 19th now here. So yeah, I guess the patch is out. Fixed an issue where the gravitational aspect was appearing weaker on two-handed weapons or amulets. Okay. So what you're telling me is I have to respec my Sork now away from Blizzard to something else. Or I just don't play the Sork. That's probably easier. Who plays a Sork? Am I right? Oh god. They were trash before, they're trash now. I mean, yeah, you did take 1 to 100, so I mean, you would know. I mean, the class has dominated for 20 years in Diablo 2. They can take a backseat for one game. I think that's fair. I think that's fair. They're like, they have been the class in Diablo 2 since that game came out. So, finally some equality. Fixed an issue where the enchantment effect for Chain Lightning had no visual tracking bonus and could also unexpectedly drop off. Okay. Fixed an issue where Incinerate would immediately cost 30 mana when cast in addition to the consistent channeling mana cost. Incinerate now properly only costs mana as it is being channeled. Okay. So no cast cost. Good. For Incinerate. Okay. Oh yeah, this is the part I know about. Well, I know they messed it up. That's what I know. The Helltide things. But we're not there yet. We're not there yet. First, we have general fixes. Fixed multiple instances where players could unnaturally teleport during boss encounters. So like when you walk into the separating room, when you walk through the entrance and you teleport across the room, is that what you mean? Fixed an issue where chests in the Western Ways could be interacted with infinitely. Did not know about that. Wish I did, though. Fixed an issue where Ahriman NPC couldn't be interacted with in certain situations. Fixed an issue where otherwise breakable objects in the world would not be broken when evading through them. Fixed multiple instances where players could avoid damage from bosses if they positioned themselves in a specific location. Fixed an issue where forged relics could not be interacted with. Fixed an issue where monsters with a cold, bleeding, burning, or corruption affix would freeze players in one hit in nightmare dungeons with the cold enchantment affix. Yay, less CC. That's always nice. Fixed an issue where cold enchanted monsters froze players more often than intended in higher world tiers. Yes, they would infinitely freeze you. And that's fun gameplay according to, I don't know, 4 people, I guess. Fixed an issue where a chest could spawn that would provide infinite loot. Why wasn't I told? Okay. Helltide. Let's do this. I heard they messed this up big time. Helltide and the Fields of Hatred. Fixed an issue where a player could be damaged by Helltide Firestorm while standing in Girandai. I'm guessing that's a town that I do not remember. Fixed an issue where enemies resurrected by shamans would continuously drop aberrant cinders in Helltide. That's pretty funny. It's a town in the swamp. Okay. Fixed an issue where Chain Lightning could bounce infinitely between the caster and other player characters standing in a Fields of Hatred town. Okay. Fix an issue where crackling energy could hit other players in a Field of Hatred town. We know, shocking. So the Fields of Hatred that's a PvP, right? Fixed an issue where players could not see other players that they should when re-entering the Alzuda Fields of Hatred zone. Fixed an issue where certain areas in the Fields of Hatred would be incorrectly flagged as a town, rendering players unable to cast skills while still being able to be damaged. Oof. Okay, so I'm guessing the part where they mess up comes later. Items and aspects. There's a lot of bug fixes, man. I feel like we're only like we've seen a lot of bug fixes so far. Where's the meat? Fixed an issue where the cost reduction bonus from the Rings of Starless Skies could unexpectedly drop off. Okay. Ring of Starless Skies. Is that the unique for Sork? I think so, right? Never got it, so no idea. I was trusting you as my local Sork pro. Ring of Starless Skies. Oh. Oh. It's the Uber unique. So again, they're fixing something that doesn't exist. Like how... Do we even have one single confirmed drop of this? I haven't heard of a single person having this drop yet. So, I don't know. Maybe someone in their office is running around with all the Uber uniques. Fixed an issue where the aspect of the protector would trigger its barrier effect after destroying a breakable object. Okay. Fixed an issue where the Ring of Misfortune had incorrect stats. That's pretty bad. Fixed an issue where the Ember Staff weapon didn't apply the bonus damage to crowd-controlled enemies, which is inherent for all stave-type weapons. It is, yes. That's pretty bad. Good fix. Fixed an issue where any character menu interaction would reset the bonus granted by Inner Calm aspect. So Inner Calm is the one that gives you increased damage when you're standing still. So if you would interact with a menu of any kind, it would count that as you moving. Because, yeah, you click. You use the left click, I'm assuming. Fixed an issue where the maximum life affix on the Mark of the Conclave quest item was scaling improperly. Fixed the issue where aspect power would also increase when upgrading an item at the blacksmith. That's an issue? Oh, okay. So the aspect power would grow stronger when you give the item plus 5 to 20 or 25 or whatever. Okay. This is the big one. I heard about this. I love this. Level requirement for sacred items will now cap at 60. Level requirement for ancestral items will now cap at 80. Good. This was so dumb. The fact that... Thank fuck for that, yeah. Right? The only good use for the old system was the fact that I knew that I didn't get my Tempest Roar helmet for my druid until level 91, because that's the required level for my helmets. That's the only use I've ever had for the old scaling system. This is huge, and I'm so glad. It opens up a bit of trading. It opens up a bit of support for your alts. Is 80 still a bit high, and should the items scale to your level? Yeah, 80 is a bit high, but it's... World Tier 4 is not supposed to be played until 73, even though we're all there, like, mid-60s. Should items scale the way they do? No. I don't think they should. I think it's so dumb that the items that drop always scale to your level. But, like, at least now we have a cap. I see this more as a temporary solution, and I hope they actually fix this garbage system in the future. Fixed an issue where the Mother's Embrace ring did not trigger properly with several abilities. Good. Good fix. Man, this is just... Man, loading screen updates. Okay. Yeah. So this is the first, like, big thing we've seen in here, really. And it's hidden in the bug fixes. I think this should be in the like new features. This is big. Monsters fixed an issue where items of higher power than intended were dropping from rare monsters. Okay. Fixed an issue where warg's jumping attack dealt no damage when passing through the player. Fixed an issue where the pitless Gur monster would endlessly run around in circles. That's me when I fight the butcher. Endlessly run around in circles because he bugs out when you do that. It's nice. Fixed an issue where the lightning enhanced champion Goatman would fail to deal damage to the player. Fixed an issue where monster with the suppressor affix would be immune to damage from abilities that started initially outside the immunity circle when a barbarian started whirlwind cast before getting within proper range of the suppressor. Good. So now suppressor is not the worst thing in the world for a whirlwind barb, so that's nice. Fixed an issue where clones of a monster with the suppressor affix could also have the suppressor affix. That's some hot garbage right there. Glad it's gone. Fixed an issue where treasure goblins would behave erratically if initially engaged from long distance. Isn't this like what they are all about though? I don't know. I don't know what they mean with this though. Because I feel like every goblin I've ever interacted with in any game has been behaving erratically, but sure. I mean, since you choose to be vague, I'm gonna make fun of you. Like it's just the way it works. Fixed multiple other issues where monster behavior could not perform properly and could be exploited in some cases. I'm guessing running around the butcher is done. Quests and events. My god, there's so many fixes. Give me the juicy stuff. Fixed an issue where progress bar could not fill during the Caravan Under Siege event. That sounds like hell. Fixed an issue where the putrid remains enemies could remain idle during the Defiled Ground event. Yep, I've seen that. Fixed an issue where champion enemies could not spawn during the Ancient Obelisk event. I've seen that. Fixed multiple issues where using traversals could cause elite and boss monsters to disappear during multiple events. I've not seen that. Fixed an issue where Radiant and Greater Radiant chests would not spawn when completing the Fearful Bones event. Bones! We're back to saying bone a lot. Fixed an issue where the Cursed Chest event could not be completed. Yeah, when enemies just stop spawning. Yeah. Fixed an issue where the Defiled Ground event... Teehee. Teehee. They didn't spell it correctly. They missed a letter. Fixed... an issue where the Defiled Ground event in Hauersar could have a respawn point much further away than intended. You should probably also tell the WoW team about this because corpse running is not fun and I feel like they do it on purpose just to make it inconvenient. Fixed an issue where unique drowned enemies spawned during events in the Forgotten Coastline could be invulnerable to damage. Fixed an issue where the suppressor monster affixes effects could be active on containers and furniture inside the dungeon during the Remnants quest. So like a good couch suppressing a fart is what I'm assuming this is all about. Because that's how you know it's a good couch. Apparently it's fixed now, so... Fixed an issue where the player could teleport through Ancient Gate, and block progression during the Storm the Gates quest. Aight. Fixed an issue where progression could be blocked during the Flesh and Blood quest. Is that the one where you have to log out and back in to get them to charge the barricade? If so, good fix. Fixed an issue where the quest dungeons did not reset if associated quest was abandoned. Fixed an issue where the quest tracker would be missing if the player re-entered the game during picking through the Bones quest. Fixed an issue where not enough monsters would spawn to fulfill the requirements for completing the Hungering Necrolyte's cash quest. Fixed an issue where enemies were missing when progressing through the Lost Archive done during the Legacy of the Magi quest. Fixed an issue where the immemorial inscription could not be read during the Augury of Bones quest. Fixed an issue where the player couldn't face to speak to an NPC when initiating dialogue for multiple quests. Huh. Oh, yeah. Is that when you click them to start a conversation, you click the text box and then you just don't speak to them and you have to run closer to them? That may be something different. I don't know. Fixed an issue where the ghost body of Bakira could remain visible after being defeated during the True Potential Rogue class quest. I've not done that. Don't know what that is. Fixed an issue where outside party members could influence the progression of the Bad Blood quest. Fixed an issue where the player could be blocked from re-entering the boss's area after dying during the fight against Elias in the Piercing Veil quest. So he wins, basically. We're about to hit the Diablo 3 soundtrack, and I think I'm going to go back to the start of the 2 soundtrack, if that's the case. The Diablo 3 soundtrack is fine. Just being a pain. Fix various other issues with quest progression could be blocked. User interface and user experience. Fixed an issue where the minimap didn't accurately depict the game world during the Blind Eye quest. Fixed an issue where the map was incomplete for the Lochrath region, Skosglen. Fixed an issue where a portion of the map was invisible during the Exalter Terrace dungeon. Fixed an issue where the Mad Bomber title would not display for enemies encountered during through the Whisper of the same name. Fixed an issue where articles in the newsfeed could not be opened using mouse and keyboard. Fixed an issue where the "you have cross-network play enabled" message was being sent to chat each time a campaign quest objective was completed. It's gone! Thank goodness. Thank goodness this is fixed. It's so annoying. Did you know you have cross-network play enabled? Yes. I'm playing with an Xbox player right now. I'm fully aware of this. Leave me alone. It left me alone. The cult leader Paragon passive no longer appears above hostile minions in PvP. They also fixed nothing right here, apparently. Fixed an issue where the bonus from the ballistic aspect displayed +0 to skills instead of +2 on the bonus bar. Fixed an issue where sigil sorting was inconsistent between inventory and the stash. Shocker. Fixed an issue where the social tab on the action wheel editing window would be skipped when navigating on controller. Fixed an issue where the amount of gold would not properly display when trading gold in large quantities. Fixed an issue where the item comparison numbers... Sorry. Fixed an issue where item comparison numbers would be inaccurate if the item in question had a gem socketed that granted a stat that was also present on the base of the item. That seems pretty big. Didn't know about that. So that's good. Fixed an issue where images would not properly load in the newsfeed on the main menu. Multiple issues with the map pin functionality. Okay. Fixed multiple issues where quest and whisper markers weren't displaying properly. Various improvements to the inconsistency and clarity of messaging, skill description and tooltips. Various other UI and UX improvements. We are almost hitting the big stuff. We're almost there. Miscellaneous. Fixed an issue where the completion music for defeating Avarice could start playing before the boss was defeated. Always confirm your kills before celebrating, Wanderers. Yeah. Of course. But I mean, the song is so good, though. So, I'm not complaining that it plays more than when he dies. But I guess then we don't get it when he dies, so. I guess the fix is needed. Fixed an issue where players couldn't send Battle.net friend requests to friends playing on console. Fixed an issue where players could confirm if hardcore mode was enabled after logging in with a new character. Fixed an issue where players could confirm if hardcore mode was enabled after logging in with a new character. Sure. The wording of that is so strange to me. I have no idea what the hell they mean. Fixed an issue where the players that haven't unlocked a higher world tier could be invited to a higher world tier party, so you didn't even have to beat it, I guess. But I mean, it's so easy to boost people through it, so who cares? Fixed an issue where players couldn't transfer leadership of a clan. Fixed an issue where the sender of the party invite would not be informed that the invite failed due to compatibility with campaign prologue progress. Fixed an issue where Nephane's spear would duplicate in cutscene where a player picks it up. Fixed an issue where Mashif's camel made no noises. So now we can actually talk to Isabel. Nice. It is the best NPC in the game. No doubt. Fixed an issue where there was no sound when Lorath kicks Mashif awake. I remember that. That was weird. Loading screen updates. We've added more dynamic loading screens with the release of Season of the Malignant. This includes adding more assets to the loading screen, such as your player character. Hey! That's cool. I like that. I get to see my character on the loading screen? Shit. That's cool. Gameplay updates. Time for the juicy stuff. The big stuff. This is what we're all here for, boys and girls. Altar of Lilith unlocks are now account-wide. We knew this. Great change. Map discovery is now account-wide. We knew this. Great change. Whispers will no longer reward sigil dust. Okay. Overall loot quality has been significantly improved for silent chests. So it might now be worth buying the keys for 20 of the obols. Interesting. Because those were garbage before, so yeah. It could be fun. The channel time for Leave Dungeon ability has been increased from 3 to 5 seconds. God damn it. Why do you do this? Why? This is just to combat like a tiny group of people that do dungeon resetting and stuff, and you're just punishing everyone else. It's so dumb. Why? This is such a Blizzard thing to change. I never understand why they take this approach to everything. It's so dumb. We have generally reduced the tendency for many monsters to move around in combat so that melee characters don't have to chase down their enemies as much. Okay. Added PS5 DualSense Edge wireless controller support for PC. Nice. Renown value adjustments. Side quests now reward 30. Dungeons now reward 40. Good. That's all I have to say. Good. This change is retroactive, and the additional renown gain will be applied to characters who have already completed side quests and dungeons. So for some people that haven't completed their season journeys, might actually have them fully completed now, which is kind of nice. Oh, they're changing the world tiers? World tier 2 has had the following bonuses added. Gold bonus increased from 15 to 20%. Monsters now drop 15% more items. So you mean it's worth playing 2 on tier 2 now? Damn. We like where World Tier 2 has landed overall, but are increasing its reward pace to better align with its difficulty. Yeah, I think that's a good thing. I think that's fair. I think that's good. Because, like, there's no point to running World Tier 2 as it was before these patch notes. Like, monsters had more health, and they dropped more gold. And you got more quests from monster kills. But, like, when you're playing through for the first time, you don't need the experience from the monster kills. Like, it slows you down enough where you end up losing XP per hour based on how long it takes to kill everything. So, yeah, tier 2 is garbage. Like, difficulty-wise, it's really nice as a second difficulty. So I understand what they mean with it landed overall they like where tier 2 landed overall. Like, I agree, difficulty wise, tier 2 is very nice. It's a very nice stepping stone between 1 and 3. But reward wise and a reason to run it, it wasn't there really. But I guess now it is, so that's nice. If this is enough. There's also that. I don't know if this in practice is going to be enough, but on paper, good change. Level scaling inside dungeons and most overworld territories has been adjusted in tier 3 and 4. Okay. Monsters will begin to trail behind the player in level after a certain point, up to a maximum of 5 levels behind. This change does not affect world bosses, legion events, fields of hatred, helltide, or nightmare dungeons. We want to give players a better sense of their power progression. Wait, what do you mean they've... What do you mean they've killed boosting? What do you mean? Where? How is this killing boosting? Like, am I missing some critical information here? Like, what do you mean they've killed? Oh, probably haven't gotten to that. Experience is down here. So, yeah. I probably haven't gotten to that part yet. The level scaling inside dungeons and most overworld territories has been adjusted. Monsters will begin to trail behind the player after a certain point, up to maximum 5 levels behind. This change does not affect world bosses and all these things. We want to give players a better sense of their power progression and mastery over the world while still challenging themselves with structured endgame activities. So, the overworld scaling is not going to feel as terrible as it has been. So that's good. This is a nice change if it, if it lands the way they're hoping. This could be very nice with you actually feeling the progression of your character, So that's very nice that the scaling kind of slows down a bit. So they're not always at your level when you're fighting them in the overworld. So that's nice. I like that. I hope it feels as nice as it reads. World Tier 3 example. If the player is below 55, the monster is 55. If the player is 56 to 60, the monster is 55. Okay, so they stop. Okay. I see what they're doing. So, if the player is 61, the monster is 56. If you're 62, the monster is 57. So, yeah, they stop at 55, but then they will keep moving up 1, so they keep to at least, at highest, 5 levels below you. From this point, monsters will always be -5 until World Tier 3 Mac Monster level of 70. Okay. So, in World Tier 4, it's 75. And then when you're 80 plus, it keeps moving up 1 per level. Yeah, from this point, the monsters will always be -5. Yeah. Okay. Is this all the stuff where they've ruined boosting? Experience. Reward experience for completing Whispers in World Tiers 3 and 4 have been increased significantly. We have observed that the experience bonus rewarded for killing higher level monsters escalates too fast when compared to the relative challenge involved. We still want to reward players for taking on this challenge by encouraging them to participate in power leveling together instead of one player killing enemies while another member of their party waits at the dungeon entrance. Oh yeah, here it is. Okay. We are adjusting bonus experience rewards for killing monsters that are a higher level than the player. Oof, this is big changes. Look at this. Pre-season, 1 level is 15%, 2 level is 20, 3 plus is 25. Post-season, 1.5 up to 10 levels. 1 level is 1.5, 2 levels is 3, 10 levels is 15. So okay. So the decrease is 10%, but you have to be at over 10 levels above where you are. So far, that shouldn't... Just based on that, that shouldn't block boosting. It should be a bit slower, but it shouldn't... Crap is gonna be... Yeah, no, this doesn't just kill boosting. This kills kind of a bit of Nightmare Dungeon experience too. Like for yourself. The whole, like, do a key that's minus 54 doesn't apply anymore with this. Because you have to do one that's 10 levels higher than you to get to 15. That's garbage. Oh, God. Yeah, this is... Yeah, this is not fun. This is not a fun thing to read. That was one of the really good things about leveling. Crap. Okay. We are also adjusting experience rewards from monster levels offset for higher world tiers. Okay. Current world tier level offset... +3, +10, +100, +3, +6, +10. Plus 10, +100. What are you doing? For example, you're level 1, your friend brings you to World Tier 4 and leave you at the entrance. They start killing level 100 monsters. Okay. So the scaling for the level difference is sliced by 1/10. Okay. Prior to Season of the Malignant, you had level 100 monster times 1 plus 25%. Now you have level 11 monster because it only scales up to +10. God. Times 1 plus 15% because it only goes up to 15% for the 10 levels instead of the 25 for 3 plus levels. So yeah, this does ruin boosting. You're right. Why? Why do they care? Boosting has been a thing in Diablo 3 for a decade at this point. Boosting exists in the other games as well. Like, why do they... I don't understand modern video game developers and their incessant need to control how players are playing their video games. I don't get it. Yes, of course it's for a room of shareholders where they can show, like, these are our metrics. This is playtime, this is time investment, this is how much they pay in the store. And they cannot have good numbers on those if you just boost characters and then you're done. But, like, fuck you. I'm so tired of video games being made as a treadmill exercise. I'm so tired of this. Like, it's the same reason they don't allow trading on most items. Because, like, this, it would remove a lot of time investment if they can just get the thing, and when they don't have to play it for themselves. But it's like, why do you think Diablo 2 has remained alive and relevant for 20 years? It's not because most people love the campaign. Even though it's a great campaign, that's not the reason why the game is alive 20 years later. It's because whenever a new season rolls around, the entire market is like, oh! Like, everyone gets like a shot of adrenaline. Because all of a sudden, items are relevant again, and I can trade people the things they want for the things I want. Like, it's the most fun part of the game. But you keep going into, this is not how we want people to play our video games. So we're not going to allow trading for most things. So we're going to make stuff account bound. And we're going to remove the ability to boost people. And then when you say that, they're going to be like, well, we haven't removed the ability to boost people. You can still boost people. It just takes a lot more time. It's infuriating. But I mean, this calculation also explains why it goes to so fast to get to 50. And then slows down significantly after. But like, this is dumb. This is dumb. Is my point. Like, I'm so tired of developers trying to tell me how to play video games. Jesus Christ. Okay. Moving on. This is the thing I heard about. They destroyed Helltides. We're looking to increase the danger in Helltide's risk-reward gameplay by making the monsters a bit more challenging and the tortured gifts and mysteries harder to open. So the mystery chest for the Helltide is now harder to open, and Helltide monsters are now 3 levels higher than the player instead of 2. I like that change, so I don't mind that. But it doesn't matter as much now, though. Does it? It doesn't matter as much now, though, that they're +3. The Tortured Gifts of Mysteries chest has had its cost increased to $250. God damn it. All interactable objects in Helltide zones now have a small chance of dropping aberrant cinders. So annoying. Like, when you're playing a Necromancer, it's already a struggle to get to the 175, I feel. It's so annoying. It's even worse on a Barb, to be fair. At least for me. I think it's worse. The worst on a Barb. Well, I haven't done Helltide with Sork and Rogue, so I don't know. I know Sork... sorry. Not Sork. Sork is bad. I know Rogue flies through Helltide. But I haven't had the pleasure of trying it yet. Well, that made me big sad. Okay. Balance updates. Let's see now. The balance of Doom. As our community continues to battle the burning hells, the builds emerging from new players have shocked and delighted us. We've chosen to focus Season of the Malignant balance updates on clear itemization disparities over redesigns of class features. The class changes are largely focused on numeric increases to skill upgrades and legendary aspects that players haven't yet found compelling. Additionally, we're changing critical strike damage paragon glyphs to empower all damage instead of only core skills, to enable more build strategies. That's nice. There are also a few class stats decreases on sources which grant extreme amounts of damage, healing, or unstoppable. In general, we prefer build-specific changes to be bonuses instead of decreases, but we feel these changes are necessary for the overall health of the game. Diablo 4 is a game that is continually evolving through its seasons. Thus, the adjustments we make will evolve with them. Adam, you said the buffs were coming. Why are you... I'm not gonna say, why are you? Why is the team now giving me nerfs? This is not what... It's not what you promised me, Adam. Okay. Barbarian. Violent double swing vulnerable duration increased from 1 to 2 seconds. Furious upheaval damage bonus per stack increased from 3 to 5%. Upheaval buff, that's nice. I hope upheaval becomes really good. It looks fun, so I hope it becomes really good. Power charge cooldown reduction is now capped to 3 targets for a maximum of 3 seconds of cooldown reduction. So no infinite charge, I'm assuming. Tactical ground stomp fury gain increased from 25 to 40. Enhanced death blows damage bonus to bosses increased from 100 to 150%. So still buffs. Still buffs. Enhanced steel grasp vulnerable duration increased from 2.5 to 3 seconds. Enhanced rupture damage increased from 30 to 45%. Warrior's rupture attack speed bonus increased from 20 to 30%, and duration increased from 4 to 5 seconds. So again, a buff. Fighter's rupture healing increased from 15 to 18% maximum life. Okay, so far so good. So far so good. Calm down, everyone. Passive. Hamstring now only slows healthy enemies, and slow amount increased from 10, 20, 30 to 20, 40, 60. Okay. Cut to the bone bleeding damage bonus to vulnerable reduced from 6, 12, 18 to 5, 10, 15. It begins. The nerfs. Paragon. Wrath Glyph's bonus now affects all damage instead of just core skills. That's a win. I think a lot of the builds run Wrath, so that's a good change. Oh my god, I see Gore down here. But before we get to Gore, Relentless Berserker's aspect berserk duration increased from 1 to 2 seconds. Battle Mad's aspect berserking duration increased from 1 to 2.5 to 2 to 3.5 seconds. So just a flat 1 second increase. Brawler's aspect damage increased from 1 to 1.3 to 1.5 to 1.8. Aspects of burning rage damage increased. I'm not going to read all the numbers. They're on the screen. It's just going to sound really messy if I keep reading out all the numbers. Aspect of burning rage damage increased. Aspect of the iron warrior damage reduction increased. Okay, just slightly, a 3% change. Slaking aspects lucky hit chance increased from 30 to 50 to 40 to 60. Aspect of the ancestral echoes lucky hit chance increased by 10% on all rolls. Weapon master aspect lucky hit chance increased from 32 to 50, 37 to 55. Okay. Okay, what have you done to Gore? Gore's devastating grips now explodes every 2 seconds or after it ends, and its hit cap has been removed. They slightly fixed Gore after ruining Gore. Praise be to Gore. So Whirlwind Barb not useless? Question mark, question mark. That's a YouTube thumbnail. Fields of Crimson bleed damage bonus increased from 10 to 15%. So a lot of buffs for the Barb. Let's see how they destroy my boy right here. Enhanced claw attack speed increased. Attack speed bonus increased. Nice. Storm strike damage reduction reduced. No! Blizzard giveth, and Blizzard taketh away. Storm strike is what I'm using. Damage reduction reduced from 25 to 15. That's a lot. Boulder damage increased. I was about to say Savage. Savage trample spirit gain increased. Twice as much. Prime lacerate healing increased. Interesting. Cataclysm lightning damage increased. And tornado damage from 19 to 20. Yo! They made my nados better. I was not expecting to get a buff to my tornadoes. Sweet. Supreme Cataclysm vulnerable duration increased. Prime Cataclysm duration increased. Prime Grizzly Rage now grants unstoppable for 6 seconds instead of while active. Crap! Well, it was fun while it lasted, boys. Druid is broken in a bad way now. It grants unstoppable for 6 seconds instead of while active. That's such a shit change. Ugh. Shit. I mean, if the crowd control from enemies wasn't fucking miserable, then this wouldn't be as much of an issue, but it is. So it is an issue. And now I'm sad. Passives. Provocation threshold required for guaranteed overpower reduced. By quite a bit. Spirit boon. Okay. The druid passives. Masochistic now also requires a lucky hit chance of 75%. Shit. Prickle skin thorns increased from 0.1 to 0.15. Iron feather maximum life increased. Bolster fortify increased. Okay. Overload damage increased. So why did they nerf? I mean, I guess Masochist was that good, I guess. I mean, it's not gonna get much play now with that change, is it? Paragon. Spirit Glyphs bonus now affects all damage instead of just core skills. So just like Wrath, and we're gonna have one of those for every class, I'm assuming. I didn't know they were parallels like that, but I guess that makes sense. Aspects of the Calm Breeze, like a hit chance increased. Balance aspect, maximum spirit increased. Aspect of the Tempest, bonus damage increased. Skinwalker's aspect, healing increased. Symbiotic aspect's cooldown reduction reduced. Aspects of the Stampede damage bonus increased. Shepherd's damage bonus increased. At the high end, okay. Items. Insatiable Fury Werebear. Insatiable Fury is the Werebear chest unique. Insatiable Fury Werebear skill ranks increased from 2 to 3. Mad Wolf's Glee is the werewolf chest piece that turns you into perma werewolf. Skill ranks increased from 2 to 3. Nice. I don't hate that. That's good for the speed farming. So overall, my wolf druid is coming out all right. This sucks, but otherwise, like, I'm on some big time copium right now. But outside of this thing, the wolf is all right. From the looks of it. Necromancer. I just saw something about disobedience and I'm scared. Initiates decompose slow increased. Paranormal sever cast required for vulnerable reduced. Blood surge healing increased. Bloodlands damage reduction for piercing reduced. Bone prison. Initial essence. Unborn Iron Maiden. Golem move faster and unhindered through enemies when their cooldown is activated. Okay. It's nice. Supreme Blood Wave leaves behind blood orbs earlier in its path. That's good. Raise Skeletons, Corpse Explosion, Corpse Tendril. Range for auto-targeting corpses on mouse and keyboard increased by 50%. Nice. Raise Skeleton Priest bonus damage increased. Raise Skeletal Priest healing increased. Passives, Evulsion bonus, damage to vulnerable, reduced. Wait, so they nerf the Necro? Am I reading that right? Evulsion bonus, damage to vulnerable, reduced. Okay. Why are you nerfing the poor Necro? What have they done to you? Transfusion minion healing increased. Drain vitality, lucky hit chance increased. Amplify damage increased. Okay. Book of the Dead. Necromancer's minions will now automatically resummon after respawning during a world boss fight. Cool. Skeleton Warrior Defender upgrade. Thorns inherited increased from 40 to 50%. It's more thorns for the skeletons. Shadow Skeleton Mage upgrade attacks required for an additional Shadow Bolt reduced by 1. Bone Skeleton Mage upgrade fortify amount increased almost twice as much. Iron Golems upgrade attacks required for Slam reduced. Man, I'm starting to... Jesus. I'm starting to feel tired from all these walls of text. Essence Glyph's bonus affects all damage instead of just core, so Essence is the name for the... Oh, so the glyph is just named after the resource. That makes sense. So the Barbas the Wrath glyph. Druida Spirit. Necro's Essence. I'm assuming then we have the Mana glyph for Sork. And whatever the hell the resource is called for the rogue, I have no idea. Aspects. Splintering aspect. Bone shard damage bonus reduced. Oof. There's the nerf to Bone Spear. Oof. Like, yeah, Bone Spear is stupid strong, but they also don't have any other builds. You can't do this to them. Don't do this to the Necros. What have they done to you? Goddamn. Aspect of Plunging Darkness bonus increased by quite a bit. Coldbringer's aspect Blizzard cooldown reduced. Aspect of Hungry Blood chance to fire Bloodland increased. Blood-soaked aspect damage increased. They buff a lot of aspects that we are not using, but I guess that's what they said, though, that they were going to buff a lot of aspects that haven't found a home. So that's probably why there's so many of them. And then just a huge nerf to one that people are using. And here's some buffs for the ones you're not using. Maybe you want to change. Ultimate shadow damage increased. Aspect of Grasping Veins. Critical strike damage bonus reduced by quite a lot. Again, this is one you use for the Bone Spear build. Osseous... yeah, you can still read it. Osseous Gale aspect bonus. Bone Storm duration increased. Okay. Aspect of the Damned bonus increase. Damage bonus increased. Yep. Okay. Blood Bathed aspect echo damage reduction reduced. Okay. Aspect of Reanimation. Skeletons damage bonus increased. Items. Bloodless Scream essence gain increased by a lot. Deathless Visage damage increased by not as much, but they buffed 2 uniques. Interesting. Rogue. I'm just going to scroll down to the Paragon here to find it. Combat Glyph is the name of it. Is there resource called Combat? It's not, right? That's dumb. Skills. Advanced Rapid Fire duration increased from 3 to 5 seconds. That's a lot. I don't know if that's a buff or a nerf. I genuinely have no idea what that means for that attack. I mean, it has to be a DPS nerf, right? Because you just spend longer to cast the skill. Advanced Rapid Fire. Like, what exactly does Advanced Rapid Fire do? Advanced Rapid Fire. What exactly is the thing? Rapid Fire deals 30% increased critical strike damage for 3 seconds after you evade. So now it gives it for 5 seconds. So it's a buff. Okay. It's not the cast time. It's the buff from the advanced thing specifically. Okay. Caltrip's cast speed increased by 15%. That's very nice. Enhanced Cold Imbue lucky hit chance increased. Enhanced Smoke Grenade damage bonus increased. Methodical Dash maximum cooldown reduction increased. Okay. That's a slight nerf. Concealment Stealth duration increased. Enhanced Dark Shroud chance to not be consumed increased. Supreme Death Trap cooldown reduction increased. Passives. It seems like pretty even for the rogue right now. Nothing severe from what I'm seeing. Victimize. Lucky hit chance increased from 30 to 35. Siphoning Strikes and also requires lucky hit chance. So that's like the thing on... yeah. The passive for the druid. Rugged damage reduction increased against damage over time effects increased. Mending obscurity healing per second while stealth increased. Aftermath energy restored increased. Combat glaive bonus now affects all damage instead of just core. Eldritch bounty legendary node duration increased from 6 to 9. Nice. Preparations ultimate cooldown reduction increased from 4 to 5. Legendary aspects. Aspects of volatile shadow damage increased. Icy Alchemist aspect chill increased. Shadow Slicer aspect damage increased. Toxic Alchemist damage increased. Vengeful aspect. Yeah. Imitated imbuement duration increased. Stolen healing increased. Okay. This looks like, I'm looking at this right here. It looks so just painful to the eye. I don't know. It just, like, I'm reading this and I'm like, like looking at these numbers. It's so like, and this, like, it's so messy to look at. I mean, it does its work, I guess. We need to know the numbers. It's just a pain to look at. Aspects of lethal dusk life of kill duration increased. Aspect of nauseous ice bonus damage increased. Aspect of elusive menace dodge chance increased. Again, more unique changes. Sky Hunter energy gain increased by not that crazy amounts, but decent. Grasp of Shadow lucky hit chance increased. Don't think it's going to be enough. Were there changes to uniques on the Barb? No. Yeah, there was. Okay, so there have been changes to uniques on all of them. Just forgot about the Barb one, even though it kind of helps the gore gloves a bit, which is nice. Sorcerer. Okay, let's see what they've done for the homies that are still somehow playing this class. Enhanced charged bolts damage increased and now benefits from skill ranks. It didn't before? Enhanced charged bolts. Hitting an enemy with at least 3 times with the same cast of charged bolts releases a lightning nova, dealing X% damage to enemies around them. Okay. Interesting. So now that charged bolts during the enhanced actually get benefits from the skill ranks. Who would have thought that would be a good idea? It sounds like, I don't know, very logical to me, but I guess it was not in there. Destructive charged bolts damage reduction increased. Destructive. Does this mean I'm gonna go Lightning Sork instead of Blizzard? Maybe. Destructive incinerate damage reduction increased. Ice Blades cast cleanup has been tightened, allowing players to act after it's cast sooner. Firebolt initial damage increased. Wizard. Please tell me the thing is called Wizard's Fireball. And that they did not just call the Sork a wizard. Firewall. Hold. Firewall. Okay. The last upgrade. It's the upgrade path thing. Yeah, the last upgrades are called Mage's Firewall and Wizard's Firewall. I thought for a second there that they called Sork a wizard because it was called Sork was called wizard in Diablo 3, so I thought they just made a big oops. Wizard's Firewall maximum increased mana regen increased. Wizard's Blizzard core skill mana cost reduction increased. Core skill mana cost reduction, so that's nice as well. Supreme Deep Freeze cooldown reduction increased. So buffs so far. Passives, Elemental Dominance. Now also affects Mastery skills instead of... Okay, so it's called Elemental Dominance. So they're called the resource for these three, and custom names for these two. Combat and Elemental Dominance. Wrath, Spirit, Essence. Potent Warding. Duration increased from 3 to 9. That's a lot. Protection Barrier duration increased. Align the elements damage reduction per second increased. Mana shield damage reduction increased. Devouring Blaze bonus critical strike damage reduced. Okay. Devouring Blaze bonus critical strike damage to immobilized reduced by quite a bit. Before it topped out at 75, now it tops out at 30. That's okay. I don't know how Devouring Blaze works, but I do know that 75 is a lot higher than 30. I'll say that much. Fiery Surge mana regen increased. Good. Good. Give them all the mana regen. Oh, it's Devouring Blaze is the ultimate. The snake. Okay. So now it's really not good, huh? Destruction Glyph. Oh, okay. Elemental Dominance was a passive. My bad. The glyph is called Destruction. Destruction Glyph now affects all damage instead of just core skills. There we go. Enchantments. Spark Enchantment. Chance to form crackling energy increased from 10 to 14. Okay. Frozen Orb Enchantment. Chance to be cast. Increased. Incinerate Enchantment cooldown reduced. Hydra Enchantment mana threshold reduced. Okay. Let's see what we have with the legendary aspects then. Aspect of Efficiency, mana cost reduction increased, and now also affects mastery skills. That's very nice. Aspect of Armageddon, damage increased. Aspect of Shattered Stars, damage increased. Serpentine Aspect Hydra, duration reduction reduced. Glacial Aspect Ice Spikes, bonus damage to Frozen reduced. What? Glacial Aspect Ice Spikes, bonus damage to Frozen reduced. What the hell? Glacial Aspect Ice Spikes damage increase slightly. Okay. So they're slightly nerfing Blizzard, but then also slightly giving it a damage boost. I don't know how to feel about that one. I'm gonna need to see some stats on that one. Aspect of the Frozen Tundra, Ice Spikes damage increased. Aspect of the Frozen Wake, Ice Spikes damage increased, and Chill increased. Aspect of biting cold, a chance to apply vulnerable to frozen enemies increased by not much. Encased aspect, life and mana restore per second increased. Stable aspect, chance for a free cast increased. Aspects of splintering energy, chance to spawn an additional lightning spear increased by a lot. By a lot. Aspects of the unbroken tether, chance for additional chain lightning chains increased. And how do we do something with the items that are not great? Gloves of the Illuminator, fireball damage reduction reduced. Okay. Isu's heirloom, critical strike chance for movement speed increased. Isadora's overflowing cameo, chance to release a lightning nova increased from 10 to 15. So, Scorch, how do you feel about this? These Sork changes. What's your over and under on the Sork right now? Is it enough? Have they fixed anything, really? The Sork changes themselves aren't the issue. The changes coming up are. Okay. So there are issues, is what you're saying. Yeah, I saw Disobedience before I opened these up, and I'm scared. Aspect of Disobedience, maximum stacks reduced from 100 to 60, reducing maximum bonus armor percent from 25 to 50 to 15 to 30. Weren't Sorks struggling enough already? Like, why do you have to make it worse for them? What? Why do you... Like, I understand that it's... Maybe they don't want Disobedience to be put in every build. Because it kind of is a must-have. Because it does so much for your survivability. But, I mean... Goddamn. That's gonna... Yep, enjoy. Now I can die even harder. Oh god. So dumb. Aspect of Retribution. Bonus damage to stun enemies reduced. Okay, like, was it even good? Exploiter's aspect. Bonus damage to Unstoppable reduced. Okay. Starlight aspect resource increased. Resource restore increased. Interesting. So that's a buff, I guess. How much do we have left of this? Not much. Okay. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel, boys. Renewed energy. Come on. Let's go. The Butcher's Cleaver's slow increased. Okay. Oh, so the lower end is increased on the Butcher's Cleaver. So the item that we get. Drop rate adjustments. Increased bonus to drop Ancestral and Sacred in Nightmare Dungeons from 5 to 10%. Okay. Remove the 20% chance to drop an extra equipment item from elite monsters outside of normal dungeons and Helltide. So, even more incentive to just run Nightmare Dungeons and Helltide then, I guess. Or at this point, only Nightmare Dungeons because they destroyed Helltide. Increased a chance to drop an extra equipment item from elite monsters in Nightmare Dungeons and Helltide by 10%. So, even more incentive to run Nightmare Dungeons and Helltides. Nightmare Dungeons now have a 50% chance to drop a second legendary item upon completion. Nice. Even more reason to do Nightmare Dungeons. Nightmare Dungeons now give 3 rare items upon completion, up from 1. Sick. That makes it easier for our druids to farm their helmets. Good change. That's a big one for me, honestly, that one. From the pain of farming the Tempest Roar and only getting it at level 91. That's a nice change. I like that. Monsters. Increased monster HP scaling from 85 to 100% bonus per extra player in the party. So the game is now harder. Enjoy. Adjusted the scaling of the Greed Shrine to improve its effectiveness throughout the game. Nice. Like that. World bosses now drop potions more often. So the triangle markers along the health bar, I guess. There's more of them. But I mean, the world bosses die so fast anyway, so it doesn't matter. There is no longer a limit to how many materials you can refine into higher materials at once. The 20 cap is gone. Yay. Good. Now we're going into item affixes. Many affixes are too efficient. You mean vulnerability? It's not even on here. That's funny. Is it further down? Is it? It is here. Okay. Many affixes are too efficient and are outshining alternatives. We're looking to refine the outliers, improve the number of meaningful choices on competitive slots, and increase the overall flexibility of items. We know these changes will reduce the total amount of possible power a character can possess, so we'll be monitoring how these changes affect players' ability to conquer expected milestones through the season. So you're just flat out nerfing everyone, and you don't know how this is going to look, how it's going to turn out. But we'll keep an eye on it. We'll keep an eye on it, you know. That's probably why the Blizzard Sork can't kill Uber Lilith anymore. Because of what they've done with the stats as well. Okay. We're increasing the availability of the affixes below to make them easier to include in different builds. Control impaired duration reduction can now appear on pants. Barrier generation can now appear for all classes. It will also begin dropping later in the game. Interesting. Lucky hit chance while you have barrier can now appear for all classes, reduced by 12% when on helm and 20% when on amulet and offhand. On helm, interesting. Mastery skill damage, newly added. Mastery skill damage, can appear on Sork weapons. Scales identically to core skill damage. Resistance to all elements can now appear on shields. Big win for when they eventually fix resistances in 12 years. The core stat bonus on weapons has been overperforming. Yeah, you mean rolling like willpower on an axe for a druid is really good? Yeah, it's pretty damn good. So we're pulling back on this bonus. Strength, 50% stronger when a weapon, is now 25% stronger when on weapons. Okay, so they've done that for all of them. God damn it. Okay. So just a flat nerf for that one. Cooldown reduction affixes often felt mandatory due to their raw power. We imagine cooldown reduction will remain a highly desired stat, but the penalty for not prioritizing it won't be as harsh. Cooldown reduction reduced by circa 30%. Imbuement skill cooldown reduction reduced by circa 30%. Trap skill cooldown reduced by circa 30%. So cooldown reduction on being like a requirement for every helm you have is, I guess, not necessarily any longer on the table, but people are probably still going to go for them anyway. We're seeing critical strike damage and vulnerable damage often viewed as a hard requirement for a build's success in Diablo 4. Yup. We believe this is a step towards allowing more builds to flourish and will continue to make changes in support of this goal. Let's see what they do to vulnerable. Crit strike damage reduced by 17%. Lightning crit strike damage reduced by 17%. Crit strike damage with bone, earth, imbued, and werewolf skills reduced by 17%. Vulnerable damage reduced by 40%. Oof. Oof. Whoa, okay. Disparities. Sork is shit now. Well, he was If it was crap before, yeah, it's shit now. Disparities in inherent affixes can rule some weapons out before the rest of their stats are even rolled. These are receiving harsher reductions than their normal affix counterparts to increase weapon flexibility. Oh my god. Look at this shit. Crit strike damage on swords reduced by 50%. Now it doesn't matter that the sword can't roll a two-handed sword, because it's garbage now. Vulnerable damage inherent on crossbows reduced by 65%. Holy shit. Damage bonus to crowd control enemies was overperforming relative to the ease of activating it versus stricter crowd controls. Type specific affixes. Damage to crowd control enemies decreased. Damage to frozen enemies increased. Oh, okay. Damage to frozen enemies increased. Well, that's nice. That's something. Oh, God. I hate overperforming. Yeah, I do too. Players were having too much fun. We fixed it. We have seen that skillful players are frequently slaughtering monsters many levels above their own. We want to support this, but the current situation is beyond what we believe is correct for the long-term health of the game. To chase this goal, we're shifting power to many offensive affixes from defensive affixes. Okay, that could be good, though. We know this will make our endgame content more deadly, particularly for those chasing our pinnacle boss. They made the pinnacle boss harder. God damn it. An encounter not meant for the faint of heart. Overcoming the pinnacle boss will take every ounce of grit you can muster and all tools at your disposal. We will continue to evaluate feedback from the community to make changes to our combat mechanics. This is demoralizing. Okay. So just a lot of the damage is straight up increased. She one-shot you already. Now she'll do it and take longer. Lol, losers. Yeah, basically. So just... This is interesting, though. Just flat damage increases. That's nice. Physical damage over time. Fire damage over time. Damage with 200, yeah. Damage with two-handed bludgeoning weapons. Slashing, dual wielding. Just a lot of flat increases to damage, though. Damage while shapeshifted increased by 25. That's kind of nice. This means a lot of the garbage affixes I have on some items might be decent now. So I guess that's fun. Companion skill damage. Oh, that's cute. Yeah. Storm skill damage increase. Wow. Werewolf skill damage. No, Diablo 3. Get out of my ears. Total armor reduced by 30%. God damn it. Total armor and forms. It's like they want us to die. Dude, it's like... It's... I don't know what to say. They've reduced all the damage reduction types. Because defense was the premium, right? Defense is what you wanted. And now they're like trying to focus more on the offense being the premium, which is the case in a lot of ARPGs, so I guess it makes sense, but still. Yeah, because it wasn't fun dying all the time, yeah. This is... Yeah, because everything fucking explodes, yeah. True. Well, that was a demoralizing second half to those patch notes. Damn. So, I opened up Reddit before I found the patch notes, and I right-clicked a few threads that sounded fun. So let's just see what they have to say. I didn't read any of these beforehand, but I opened up the tabs. Let me summarize the whole patch for you. Spam Nightmare Dungeons alone, and your favorite build was nerfed. Thanks, Blizzard, but I'm going to play Baldur's Gate 3. Yeah. I personally went from being excited to being indifferent for Season 1, which is sad. Yep. I don't know, man. We are going to read what the Malignant Hearts do, because they're apparently the full list is available, so we're going to look at those. Not in patch notes. Hell Tides are no longer worth it. Huge Cinder nerf. They're looking into it. Huge bug. Okay. Hell Tides are more dangerous and takes 2 to 3 times longer to do without any increase in reward. Nightmare Dungeons are even more so the only in-game activity is worth the time. Only you need to upgrade the North Force to do Hell Tides. I have a level 100 rogue and just hopped on post-patch to see how things were, so I started in a Hell Tide. Normally, Hell Tides I could farm Cinder so easily and quickly. The 4 chests feasibly. Not because of the increase in cost, but because of the reduction in Cinders. Doesn't seem to be mentioned. The Cinder Ups has been brutally nerfed. One world event may yield 10 to 20. Regardless how many mobs you kill. I've done it with 3 people and we got 20ish, and that's all I got 10 to 15. Huh. Yeah, but it might be a bug. Okay, so never mind. Huge nerf to Helltide. I'll be able to get 4 mystery chests with 2 to 3 cheaper chests. But I'm now only getting 1 mystery chest and 1 cheap chest for the whole hour. It's much harder as well. Huh. Probably ran into the same thing. The strangest, most incompetent part of this entire patch is that they drastically reduced all defenses across the board, but resistances still are so weak and broken. You'd think they save changes for this for when they finally fixed resistances. Now we have weak defenses plus no viable resistances. Very weird shit. How about fixing resistances before you club us across the head with the nerf hammer? The strangest part is that they nerfed the inherent vulnerable damage on crossbows and claimed it would increase the viability of other options, which no it won't, because the only other option is bows damage versus distance, which is worthless even at double the value of most rogue builds. Everyone is still going to use a crossbow unless using a bow unique is really hating, or just really hating crossbows. Fair. This is true of a lot of nerfs in the patch. This site as being needed to increase diversity, but don't do anything of the sort. We're still all going to stack crit and vuln because they have double or more the value of other affixes to even come close to competing. Yeah. Exactly. This is why so much of this patch doesn't make sense to me. You don't understand. They nerfed armor so you can start using resist. Because both of them are garbage now, I guess. This is what happens when there's no PTR. Yeah. It's like they don't play their own game. That's the problem. Yeah, I'd kind of... I never like being the person that's to say that, like, because I'm sure they do play their own game, but I don't think they play enough of it to understand what they're doing. Every Blizzard game in the past decade has had a PTR because they humbly accept they need help testing and sometimes don't think the way players do. D4 is the first game to break that mold, and today's patch is the exact result of it. Nerfs will always be a bit bitter, but in today's patch, abilities were buffed that are already good. Classes got uniques that are unusable. Terrible abilities when completely untouched. Survivability and resource reliance is even worse, despite being top complaints for players. The list goes on. All this does not have to do with quantity of work or lack of resources. The changes today are incredibly thorough and, for the most part, in the wrong direction. I'll wait a few days for the ashes to settle and bitterness to subside and reconsider, but this is looking like a hard pass on Season 1. So it looks like you're not alone on this, Scorch. So there's probably a lot of people that agree with you on this. I mean, I am too, to a degree. Like the whole, like, being indifferent to not interested in Season 1. Here's my take. They didn't make PTR because they wouldn't change anything anyway. They had Season 1 pre-planned and ready to go since release. Yeah, they're busy working behind the scenes on Season 2. Season 1 was done a long time ago. I'm not angry at the changes, just made me go, oh, there's other games instead. Yeah. It's been nice going back to Jedi Survivor for me personally. It's been nice playing a different game for a while. Because goddamn, am I tired of just being mad at a video game. One of the gems is literally increasing resistances, which suck ass, and Blizzard confirmed they suck ass and will be changed, but they would design a gem in between release and Season 1 that they already said is garbage because Season 1 was done before any complaints about resistances appeared. This is a joke of a season and otherwise everyone to skip it, so Blizzard realizing doing Season 1 would have been better. Yeah. I mean, they should have delayed Season 1. I agree. But there's no way you can convince almighty Blizzard to do that. If you got the Battle Pass with your D4 purchase, you can activate that in any season and safely uninstall now until the game is playable and reaches version 1.0. Nice. I see what you did there, and I like it. Knowing Blizzard, there's a good chance that this is bad wording and they were just too lazy to code it automatically activating, just like having to log in with your furthest progress character to unlock renowned stuff for your seasonal character. So I cannot guarantee that you can keep that unlocked, but it also says in the shop that it's an unlock and not the battle pass for Season 1, so it only says it unlocks at Season 1 because that's the first battle pass, okay? The thing I'm worried about is they said they won't be releasing big patches between seasons, which means these changes are probably here to stay until Season 2. Yes, what I think they mean with big changes and patches, though, is like the gem tab. Like, that's a big change. I still think we're going to get a bunch of, maybe not a bunch, but balance changes that fix broken stuff. It's for sure going to happen between seasons. But they're not, like, it's not like they even have the leaderboards in the games, so what? There's no race for them to interrupt. I don't know. Yeah, I don't... What was the reason for the added 2 seconds of leave dungeon cast? Yeah, I'm curious about that. I'm assuming it's for resetting. Nothing changed for Sork except for Squish here. Nerfing crit damage across the board will make other stats more desirable. Would just make every class feel worse to play. True. Shout out to Blizzard for adding another uber unique legendary this season. Woo! Insane that nothing was done regarding stash space. I mean, they're... Yeah. Now in the shop. Can we please revert this patch? Can we please, for the love of God, get an option to disable vulnerable text? Yes, please. What did the Sork do to deserve this? Maybe we should all skip Season 1 and see if that wakes them up. I mean... Yeah. Patch notes TLDR fixed an issue where players were having fun. This patch is an absolute hype killer for Season 1. Why there is no Codex or Diablopedia or something. Oh, okay. That's a completely different thing. Not trying to be sarcastic here. Is there any quality of life the community has asked for in these patch notes? Helltide is pointless post-patch. Battle passes may be saved for future seasons. I might do this. I might save mine, honestly. Just run the free pass for Season 1. This franchise is not in good hands. After today's patch, Baldur's Gate 3 can't come sooner. Thanks, Blizzard. I'm assuming this is sarcastic. All the malignant hearts. I mostly crack the D4 armor from. This is an old one. I remember this. Game stutters when I evade. New Sork unique issues. Why on earth did Blizzard literally make another item for this class that has a trade-off? Other classes don't suffer as much as this. Might as well say, your evade has no controllable direction and will get you killed. But hey, at least you teleport. Just one item that helps Sork out without sacrificing damage or cooldowns would be very welcome. D2 nostalgia, I guess. In D3 it's fully positive. I'm excited to be losing thousands of armor and to replace it with that heart that gives me 20 to 40 elemental resistances to the type I took damage for. You mean for that resist that is non-existent until maybe season 2? Probably later. In D2 the random teleport chance on B... Oh right, that's how it works. In D2 the unique teleports you when you get hit. That's what it does. It's way easier to avoid getting hit in that game, and teleport has no cooldown, so you can just teleport back. This new version is just garbage. Yeah, okay. That's a shame. And yeah, if you're just doing this for the, like, callback to D2, remove it. Like, get rid of it. Like, I love D2, but you're ruining a good item to be like, see what we did there? It's unnecessary. I haven't seen a single positive thread about the patch yet, but I also know the internet loves to hate. That's true. But this is also a really bad patch notes. The only good thing was the bug fixes at the beginning, and I was like, wow, this looks so nice. No nerfs. Okay, what was the reason for the added 2 seconds to lead dungeon? Patch notes are a miss for me on a lot of fronts. This change really stood out to me. Some really dumb bullshit, though. Okay. Tell me. Because fuck you, that's why. We neutered pretty much everything. We snuck in lower Helltide fire thingy drop rates, and we added 2 seconds to leave dungeon. Yeah. It's increased player time by just 1%. But if you look across the board, changes like this are bountiful. Yeah. Was it to match Town Portal? Oh. That might be it. I imagine Blizzard deciding to make these the same so people weren't trying to abuse this. Jesus. Well, yeah, that does sound like Blizzard. Why the fuck wouldn't they make Town Portal faster then? Why add all this bloated wait time? It's in line with the rest of the patch. Instead of buffing things to be in line with stronger things, they nerf across the board. Yeah. Be happy they didn't extend the portal exit animation. Jesus. So hardcore characters can't escape the butcher. Oh god. Make the shit builds better, don't ruin the good builds. Yeah. Because all you do is make the game feel bad to play. Yep, exactly. Nothing changed to actually help Sork. Switch styles. If anything, our boss damage got nerfed and her top band numbers are brought down slightly. Then some general defensive aspects got nerfed, further hurting Sork. We won't use skulls and jewelry because of malignant gems, so we are even squishier than before, which was already one-shot level in 60+. Right, we're not going to be using skulls for armor and jewelry because of the malignant gems. At least I can save the battle pass for a later season. Yeah. Okay, these ones. So these are these alone are the only way Sork did damage. Literally the only way. Also with CDR, their only way, cooldown reduction, their only way to survive later on. So sweeping nerfs to our damage just from general nerfs. Now let's dig into Sork specifics. Oh wow, cooldown reduction I missed this. What the hell? Cooldown reduction inherent on offhands reduced. That's so bad. Jesus. So bad. Disobedience, nerf, yeah. And exploiters, devouring blaze. It gave me big sad. Yeah, I can see why. It's not great. I'm gonna need something for this. Gonna need to. I'm surprised I don't drink alcohol. Really, with all the bullshit going on every day in the gaming space, I'm surprised I'm not an alcoholic. Jesus Christ. Pour one out for a homie. I'm not about to. I almost dropped the thing, so I almost did pour one out for you. I'm not about to pour this out. I need every single drop of this. Our one defensive we can run to get more armor is nerfed. Our only damage boost outside of CC, which remember they nerfed above, is nerfed. Our main passive that allowed us to even get remotely close to the 1,000,000 damage mark, absolutely destroyed. This also compounds with no more skulls and jewelry due to season mechanic, making us lose more armor. Our new aspect and unique will never be used. No significant changes to other uniques. Basically, the entire way a Sork did damage for nerfed and just general changes. Then they nerfed Sork more specifically on top of that. I may be wrong and biased, so I will happily look for your response on which buffs we got to counteract all these nerfs. Editing again for those build-changing seasonal mechanics everyone says to wait for. Sork, Tal Russia, Vicious. Oh, this is a malignant thing. For each unique element you deal damage with, you deal 7 to 12% increased damage for 3 to 10 seconds. Okay. Nice to see Tal Russia back in this. Spell breaking, brutal, defensive. After taking elemental damage, gain resistance to that element for 5 seconds. But resistances are not working, so what's the point? Spite, devious utility. When you're afflicted with a crowd control effect, there's a 20 to 40% chance that the same enemy and enemies around you are also afflicted with the same effect for 3 seconds. Also in Season 1 Diablo, enemy freezes you. I guess it's the... Omnipower, Wrathful, Super World Tier 4. Core skills that launch a projectile consume all of your mana. For every 45 to 35 extra mana consumed, you launch an additional projectile, and the damage is increased by 3 to 5%. What the hell? It eats all your mana? That sounds like garbage. Woo! More resists for Sork. We'll be so tanky now. Look, Sork and Necro would be so good defensively if resistances worked. Because intelligence is their main stat, and it automatically gives you all resist. So they would be good if it worked. I don't think you can understate how insanely irrational this heart design is. After taking elemental damage, you gain resistance to that element for 5 seconds. Season 2 is when they're gonna fix or rework resistances. At this point, hearts won't even be in the game. They designed a seasonal resistance boon to a class who has a lot of resistances in a game where resistances don't work, instead of adding a defensive option that would help this squishy class. Yep. This is completely nonsensical. I'm fairly sure that could say 200 to 400% and people would still wouldn't use it. Yeah. No, I wouldn't. Even at 200 and 400%, I wouldn't use it. It's funny joke. Sork dies from first hit. Oh, God. Exactly. Mainly because even at 200 to 400% with diminishing returns on resist would be like a 5% increase. Oh no. Why is it so bad? Oh god. Honestly, I genuinely thought I was bad at the game. I mean, it's debatable. Until I read about other people dying as Sork. Yeah, Sork is terrible. I didn't realize it was as bad as it is until you were at like mid-70s. I think is around when I realized just how bad the Sork was. Not necessarily because of your performance, but because I started seeing the conversation about the Sork popping up everywhere. It's not a good time in Sorkland. This is it. This is $100+ million of development. 6 years, thousands of employees, 20+ years of Diablo experience. Yeah, this I think is something that people don't talk about enough. Because they're like, well, this game is new. And Diablo 3 has had 28 seasons of progress to be good. To be where it is now. And it's like, Diablo 4 is not made in a vacuum. Diablo 4 has the ability to learn from what you've done with Diablo 3 and Diablo 2 and Diablo 1. You're not making a video game in a vacuum. You can start the base game wherever you want it to be when you're making it. You don't have to make it the most bare bones fucking desert of a video game that you can, because 3 started there. You can... I truly don't get it. It's so dumb. This is the very best they can do. They aren't being malicious. They aren't stupid. This is them at 110% maximum effort. That would be really just... I don't know what to say. If this is just them at maximum effort, just actually trying to make the best thing they can, I don't know what to say if that's what this is. This is their job. They're being paid for this. Yeah, this is true. I mean, there's a lot of people in different places where they work where they're just not good at their job and don't care about their job. So, I guess it's not impossible. Really think about it. This is Blizzard. This is as good as it gets. This is the very best they can do. I do feel a bit bad for the Diablo 4 devs. Because someone is trying to... someone is trying to make them look bad. I don't know who in the lead positions are making these decisions. That's making the entire team look bad, but I feel bad for the team. Because these are bad decisions. Devs spend too much time complaining about how people are praising Baldur's Gate 3 and what they accomplished as a smaller team. Yeah. It is funny though just how promising and like good Baldur's Gate 3 is looking, and how so many developers have come out to be like, don't expect this to be like the new baseline for every RPG on the market. They had such strange circumstances that led them to this point. It's like, yeah, Divinity 1 and 2 are excellent video games. They are. They're great. And with that experience, that's why Larian are able to make such a good game. It's not surprising Baldur's Gate 3 will be good. Yeah, exactly. They have a great backlog of video games they've made. They have taken community feedback for so long with like an early access period on Steam, and are just making the best game they can because they're just big nerds. Which is why so many older games are good, because they were just made by a group of big nerds. Now everything is turning into like 4 companies buying every single studio, streamlining everything, and now it's just like money men making all the choices, and the fucking spark is gone. I honestly hope Microsoft clears house. This is ridiculous. The blanket nerf every class in the game. I'm sure Microsoft cares a lot about all the class nerfs. That's why indie games are better generally. Yeah. Yeah. I just wish there were more. It's made by people who enjoy games. Yeah. I just wish there were more indie games and genres I actually like. That's my main issue with a lot of indie games. It's why I'm really excited about Last Epoch, which is like a Diablo-like game, which has been in early access for years and just hit their 0.9 patches and are now just tidying up and finishing up everything, making the game ready for release. It's looking really good. It's looking really good. I hope they... Goddamn, I hope it turns out as promising as it looks. What a game. Yeah. I'd agree with everything here, except for the they aren't stupid parts. How do I know? Checks patch notes. Increase teleport time from out from dungeon from 3 to 5 seconds. They forgot to make the horse dismount sooner and increasing its cooldown. Horse dismount is based on damage taken. Take a level 60 character into world tier 4 and C. Yeah, the cooldown for being hit off your horse is garbage. Like, why do I need to wait 28 seconds to get back on my horse? It goes faster to fill up my car. What do you mean? Nerfing Voln was fine because that was overtuned, but crit damage too. The core fantasy of an ARPG is doing big numbers. It was mostly through crits and simple-minded. Simply we've seen big text and big numbers. I'm thoroughly depressed at the notes. I'm gonna go to bed and sleep it off. Take care, boy. Yeah, you take care, man. I'm gonna read all the Malignant Hearts and see what they do. But like based on what people are saying, I'm not expecting much. We'll see. Take care, man. Thanks for hanging out. Those were definitely patch notes. They're adding 6 uniques, 1 per class, and of course 1 neutral unique, which is some god-awful reason they're deciding to make an uber unique. So Season 1 is adding a grand total of 1 whole unique for your class. Diablo 2 released with over 200 uniques. Is that true? That's such a huge number. That can't be right. Not on release. Jesus. Not considering that on a year later it added another 100 with Lord of Destruction, and a year later 75 with 1.10. I stand corrected, I guess. And this is not even counting sets and rune words as uniques. Jesus. I mean, there's a lot of garbage uniques in Diablo 2, but like when you have hundreds, it doesn't feel as bad. I was kind of behind them until this patch. The fuck? Yeah. Nothing's done regarding stash space, especially in a season with the heart system, which will take even more space. Oh, God. They did fix the stash. They nerfed XP and slowed the game down. Who has the time for multiple characters in this environment? Yeah. Stash space is one of the biggest issues in this game so far, right now. Can we please revert this patch? I'm dead serious. Would you rather play Season 1 on the previous build and go back on to the drawing board and try again for Season 2? I just can't understand the reasoning. I feel like I just lost 5 levels of my build progress. I was comfortably farming tier 24s, occasionally pushing a 31. Now a 24 is work to get through with any affix. I tried about 10 and all felt equally as shitty. Like, I don't even feel tempted to log in and try. Like, ugh. Remove boosting. Prevent D3 scaling and 1000% modifiers. I appreciate that one. I do. I just think that that ship has already sailed. That's the problem. Make a World Tier 3 a thing. Also limits prevent classes being absurdly broken compared to other classes and pushing. Helltides, I don't really know why though, unless the seasonal aspect will carry over to Helltide, so they had to reduce cinder drops for that. Malignant mobs, Helltide mobs might have been absurd amount of cinders. Just don't see the malignant mob cinders yet possibility. Removing boosting only hits players that will play the game more than casuals. Yes. That's the thing. Casuals aren't doing boosting. The people doing boosting are the people that play the game more. Because they can boost a character to get it to a usable state and then try new builds. You think you're fixing player retention, but you're actually ruining it. So the casual experience isn't hit by this. On the other hand, people who will grind anyway now need to put an additional 50 hours into their character. Or they don't play. That's the trade-off. If it's too bad, they will stop playing. They already killed this with the damage buckets, the scaling and modifiers, yeah. Nerfing important stats and highlighting useless ones isn't a way to prevent scaling. It's a way to nerf the power level of all characters. Do they need longer in the game? Yeah. God. Number 4, remove fun. Number 5, fuck Sorks. What did the Sork class do to deserve this? My God. Oh God. Some dev was mad that Sork was OP in D2. Then they should just commit nerfs code patches to D2R. Hell no. No way. Please leave D2 Resurrected alone. At least it's a high quality game. Oh God. Look how they massacred my boy. Oh God. Yeah, you know, maybe you should use your power of influence and boycott Season 1. Bobby got his paycheck and performance bonus. This is Phil's shit show to deal with now. Yeah. Fixed an issue where players were having fun. Oh yeah, at least you got some scaling stuff fixed, so I guess that's nice. Okay, where are... I honestly think they care more about Immortal than D4 at this point. Well, yeah, Immortal is more money.